Lord have mercy. The wig was in two pieces.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for K. Michelle, My Life. This is season 3, episode 6. Well, you know, when we left off with episode 5, that goddamn crazy Milicia had done yanked the shit out of K. I don't know how bad she had done yanked my girl, honey. She done yanked K, baby. Her lace front was in two pieces, honey. There was a little piece and then the big piece. And I was wondering what was going on. So, well, K gonna put her wig back on, you know, when they got them all separated out. She went to put the wig back on, and motherfucking some shit. This whole piece was missing. That shit was on the floor. Jonathan picked it up and stuck it on top of his head, and they was talking. I said, Lord have mercy. That was a mess. Girl, I didn't know she had yanked you that because she yanks the motherfucking shit out of you. I said, oh, damn. Crazy ass bitch. Anyway, Jonathan and Kay actually went, after that, they went and had colonics. I was like, okay, you all. They shared that, you know. They just, them two is too close. I ain't sitting with none of my friends while they get their ass emptied. I'm not going to do it. Love you dearly, but I'm not sitting in there with you with this. It was a fucking mess. They actually started to talk about, later on they were talking about what had happened, Jonathan and Kay. And Kay was saying, you know what? I'm going to call, she called P. London to have P. London come in and intervene with the situation with Milicia. Because Jonathan's like, you know, I wish P. London would have actually been there when all the shit went down because he wanted to stomp her the fuck out. But dude, you know he couldn't do that. But you know, P. London would have done that. She would have fucked her up. And you know, she's saying that P. London and Milicia are actually friends, so she has more respect for her than, you know, the average person. P. London was like, girl, sure, you know, no problem. She had, you know, because that's what she had attitude about the shit. She's like, sure, I'll meet with her and shit. Honey, they ended up meeting up later on. Kay and Jonathan's in the car. P. London goes into the restaurant, and they told her, keep your phone on so we could hear the conversation. So they go in. Well, Milicia goes straight off the cuff. P. London's like, what's up? Milicia's like, that bitch so forth and so on. P. London was like, whoa, you mean Kay? Not sitting there calling my friend a bitch and all that. You know, we're not going to do it. She said, well, wait, let me do it. No, we're not doing all that, bitch. The fuck is you talking about? And while you're on it, bitch, why would you put your hands on her? You know, she went there. She went right there with her. So, yeah, if P. London would have been there when they had that little tete-a-tete, honey, she probably would have, they'd probably been rolling. Them two would have been rolling. So it's probably a good thing that she wasn't there. But they end up going back and forth. She's telling her side of the story again. She's going through all these melodramatics. Honey, Kay was like, this bitch is lying because it was still more of this. She told me she loved me and blah, 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 blah. And Kay was like, that bitch is lying. I'm going up in here. So Kay and Jonathan end up going in the restaurant. Then everything switched over. And she started, you know, talking like she had some sense. And she said, you know, she basically, I ain't going to go through all of it because it was getting on my nerves to sit through it all. But she basically admitted, well, yeah, I kind of over exaggerate everything because I'm feeling kind of hurt because I was jealous. She admitted, I'm jealous. And by the time they got done with the conversation, she told Kay, you know, I wish you the best. I hope he makes you happy, this, that, thing, and the other. And Kay's like, I'm sorry for dragging you in. I didn't know that you weren't able to handle what the situation is, but we will never be together. You know, I like you eating my pussy and everything, but that's it. I mean, he's my man. You must respect that. Now, if you want to eat me every now and again, I'm going to let you do that. But other than that, you're not going to disrespect him. You're not going to be snatching my wigs and carrying on like this. It's not going to happen. And she pretty much blamed it on how she left Memphis when she was 17 and this, that thing. That nobody cares about all that. Nobody cares about all that. Keep your face out of Kay's pussy and keep your hands off her wigs. End of story. Anyway, so then there's this other little girl we saw that Kay is planning on working with. Her name is Gabby. She's 19 years old. She's from Memphis. Kay flew her down to Atlanta to have her basically audition and that. She got a good voice. Kay told her, she sees potential in her, and Kay's working with her. She's going to work with her and set her up. She told her, I want you with vocal lessons. I want you practicing and getting good. She's like, and I want you in a boot camp. She said, and not because you aren't good. I want you there because you are good, and we need to work on you. So I think she's going to end up being one of the artists, one of the first artists that Kay signs. But really good, she really good voice, really pretty girl, built real nice. She got the package, she got everything together already. So ain't too much work to do. So that'll be interesting to see. Then also the space in the building over top of where Puffs and Pedals is going to be has become available. So Kay actually got to look at that. So she's going to expand Puffs, but she was trying to make the decision. Does she start to do the renovations and things up there before she opens Puffs, or should she go ahead and get Puffs open and then, work on it? I say get it open and start making some money and let it pay for itself. That's what I say. But I mean, depending on what you want to get done, because you don't want people down there eating and, sawdust and banging and all that. So just depends on what you're planning on doing up there. So that's that. That was what actually went on in this episode. It was good. It was good. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.